On this podcast, we talk about the books, both old and new, that are worth putting on your to-be-read list. I'll include the back cover synopsis, content warnings, as well as my pro and con list. To avoid any spoilers, head over to my Instagram at enjoylifewithme.angela. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these books. Let's jump in for the day. Today we're going to be talking about Loving Our Collision by Madelyn Smith, which is the second book in her series Bolts of Love. And I did do the first book in episode 65, so I'll link that in the show notes if you want to go back and listen to that first. The back cover synopsis says, if Holly marries her brother's best friend, it'll solve her problems. Unless she makes new ones by falling for Mateo, knowing their relationship has an end date. Holly. Being the sister of a famous movie star has its downsides. The current one, a date who was harassing me and threatening to ruin my brother's career. When he backs me into a corner, it feels like the only solution I have is to lie and say that I'm engaged to my brother's best friend. Are there some issues here? Yes. Seeing as Mateo lives in a different state, manages his family farm, and is way too good and sweet to be marrying someone with so much baggage. But when I call him and say I need a husband for the next year, he actually agrees. Next thing I know, we're meeting up at the courthouse and saying I do's. My one rule, don't fall for him because our marriage has an end date. Mateo. I love my family, but after fending off one too many disaster estates from my meddling parents and the town folks, I need space. So when Holly calls asking me to pose as her fake but technically real husband, I readily agree. My quick acceptance might have to do with having had a crush on her since we first met. How are we going to make this work when we come from two very different worlds and two very different states? I have no idea. But when every passing day I know I want her to be my future, it's just a simple matter of making my wife fall in love with me. It can't be hard to bring our two worlds together. Or can it? This is a dual point of view contemporary rom-com with the tropes of brother's best friend and marriage of convenience. The intimacy is moderate, there's lots of kisses, hugs, and such, but they are married and it's all what I would consider clean. No language, no violence. I mean, there's a couple people that deserved it, but whatever. Potential trigger warnings, stalking and inappropriate touches on bad dates, blackmailing, and terrible parents who are alcoholics. As the cons, I was saying, certain characters didn't get punched in the nose when they really deserved it. There was also sayings like too many country songs, as if that's possible. It's not. And also my favorite pupusa restaurant was not open while I was reading this, and I had to look up authentic Salvadorian recipes, and it's not the same. But on the pro side, she did give us a snack list, and I love that she thinks about these things and adds them in. I did try the salty sweet one, pretty good. So, amazing life advice in this book. It was like therapy every other page, from the men cry and normalizing that to that you don't have to love everything about your partner's job, and you can't expect them to love everything about your job. There's the quote, every day you have to choose to love your spouse. Y'all think I love it when your dad leaves his socks everywhere? No, but I still choose to love him every day because if I didn't, not even a love match would last. I choose to love him despite his flaws. It's our job to teach you that you deserve romance and a spouse you enjoy kissing all the time, no matter how old you are. We're teaching by example, and one day you'll appreciate our efforts. Or the one that goes, he isn't perfect, and he's not meant to be. Marriages never have perfect people in them. Marriages are two imperfect people growing and becoming better together with the help of Christ. Also, it was real. I mean, not every woman is a size 2, and I loved reading that. Or when she says mental health struggles have horrible timing, it's true all the time, every time. It always seems like the worst possible time, frankly. But she was also really relatable because there was a quote, just because you have a stash of snacks and a Kindle in your room doesn't mean you can live in there. frankly, I disagree. I could live in there. I'm not saying I should, but I could. I also agree that when they said that the way to a woman's heart is cooking her delicious food, that she doesn't have to make herself, accurate, very accurate. Thankfully, I married a man who knows how to cook, because I don't. So, that on top of the fact that this one was hilarious, it definitely had the comedy part of the rom-com. You're going to be giggling and smiling the whole way through, from the "excuse me, mouth, why are you sharing such personal information?" to the "once again, I am questioning why I had to be of average height instead of being tall like my brother. Genetics are not fair." I have a whole page of these. I could honestly read so many of them to you. But the one I really loved is, "I'm perfectly capable of opening a door. I know, but I'm trying to keep chivalry alive even if I have to perform CPR on it daily." I will let you read the rest of them because I could seriously make this podcast twice as long as it needs to be. Because it was just, there were so many parts that I highlighted. Loved it so very much. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts on it. It's a newer release. It came out last month, so go grab your copy. These 2 books in this series are so worth it. You will not regret it. So grab them, read them, jump over to my social media at enjoylifewithme.angela. I'll make sure the clickable link tree is in the show notes for you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And as always, happy reading. Talk to you soon.